beautiful souls. Welcome to this week's Karma Cards. I'm your host, Therese Tucker. I have a question for you. Have you downloaded the free Starlight Dream Lab yet? Because you might want to. It's in the link in the description below. And the reason you might want to is because this Sunday, November 2nd at 2 p.m., so 2-2, November 2nd, 2 p.m. Pacific time, I'm going to be live on Zoom as well as here on YouTube, and I'm taking you through the Dream Distiller Challenge. So I want to help you build a strong why for what you want that will help you magnetically call it in. It's called the Dream Distiller Challenge. So I'm going to be taking you through part of the Starlight Dream Lab. We're going to go through it, and by the end, you're going to have a strong sentence that will help you deeply connect to why and the feeling of that future you that you want to experience. So if that sounds like fun to you, it's free to join. You get to go through the Dream Distiller, and you'll come out with a really strong sentence that anchors you into that future timeline. And that's just a part of the Starlight Dream Lab, which is a free resource I've created for you to help you feel your dreams real, help you get your nervous system ready, prepared, and comfortable with the life that you are calling in. So if all that sounds good, the link for the Dream Lab is in the description below. I'll also have the Zoom link down there for Sunday. And of course, if you can't make it onto Zoom, or I can help you live, you can watch here on YouTube, and I'll be broadcasting live here as well. All right, so let's get into the energy of this week. So this is the week of October 29th through November 4th. And we've got two major movements, planetarily speaking, and they're both moving in the same direction. And that is Mercury today, the 29th, which is when I'm recording, is moving into the sign of Sagittarius. And then on November 4th, Mars is going to move into the sign of Sagittarius. So these two have been hanging out together in conjunction, at least since they've been in Scorpio. Now they're hanging out together in Sagittarius. So the mind and action is moving into the big picture, which is why it is a perfect time to think about your big dreams and your big goals, because the thoughts about your life become a little loftier. You want to see it from the 40,000 foot view. You want to take action in a big way that feels aligned. Sagittarius rules the higher mind. So it's seeing past this now moment and being able to really see into the future, but also see how everything connects together. That's where our mind and our actions are going to want to be at. So this is the perfect time to work on something that is about your future and seeing that bigger picture before we want to break it down into smaller, actionable steps. So perfect timing. Gotta say, universe, thanks for aligning me. This is always a good time to focus on those things. That's why I like to put the dream, not only the Dream Lab, but also the Epic Year Workshop, which is how we take that dream sentence and turn it into a strategy. The Epic Year Workshop does that. So all of that is happening now. You can still join the Epic Year Workshop, and there's a lot of cool bonuses for signing up for that. So I would love to support you for an entire year. Not only craft your big dream, but make sure it's in alignment with where your energy actually is going, so that you're not creating dreams outside of something that feels unreasonable to your own frequency, to your own body. If it is out of alignment with your frequency, guess what? It's going to be out of alignment with your nervous system, and your nervous system is going to say no. So first we want to find out where we're at in frequency, and then the actions to take are so much easier. So much easier to know what actions to take when you know your own frequency. So we do that in the Epic Year Workshop. We craft it for ourselves, and then we can break it down into a strategy. And that, if the word strategy stresses you out or feels overwhelming, it used to for me in the past. Now I get so hyped up with the idea of strategy because I've learned how easy it can be. It is not something that you're going to have to work on for a long time. In fact, when you know all the details about where you want to go, how you want to feel, what's in alignment with the action to take, then the strategy becomes something that just sort of naturally flows out of you. I'd love to show you all how to do that and support you through it throughout 2026. So here's the link The link's also in the description below. You can come and join me and be a part of the year of integration for the Epic Year Workshop. Let's get down to business and the message from the team this week. Okay, so during this time, there is some stuff that seems to be coming up from deep under the surface. It's a period of deep healing, but it also might make you feel a little bit helpless. And if you're in a certain mindset, even slightly hopeless. And I hope that's not where you go. Although I have felt that. The good news is we don't have to stay there. But there's some old patterns that are arising. There are complications outside of your control. It's kind of like the universe feels like it's sort of, maybe not the universe, but definitely our dimension seems to be sort of riding on the rails right now. And again, if you haven't listened to the most recent channeling that I had with the new moon in Libra, I would highly recommend listening to it because it makes more sense. We are going through a tremendous growth period now. And then just as I say that, I get a ding. I love it when they do that. We're going through a tremendous growth period, not just a growth period, a growth spurt. And I don't know if you remember going through growth spurts. I think a lot of us like to block that out because it was a very unpleasant time. But as the mom of 2 kids who are, they're like bean poles, my kids. They're super tall and they're constantly growing, especially in their legs. Their knees always hurt. And it's the tendons, right? Stretching in the knees. They get really tight as they're growing. The bones are growing and the tendons get tight. It takes the tendons a second to catch up with the bones. And that can create a lot of cramping and pain and discomfort and unease. And if you're only focused on the symptoms, it seems like a bad thing. And that's the thing that they're talking about, is there's a lot of like growth pain. Right now, we're going through an accelerated growth cycle. It's a growth spurt, and it is a growth spurt means a lot of growth at once. And what that can look like is pain and discomfort. It can look like a reshuffling of things. It looks like things falling apart or breaking suddenly. And I mean literally breaking. Like I've had a few things around my home in 1 week. 2 major appliances broke. My water heater broke and then my propane tank broke. I'm just like, you gotta be kidding me. That's a lot in 1 week, but things also resolve because we're growing. And if we focus on it correctly, we can ride the wave without feeling too battle damaged. But if you get caught up in the symptoms of a growth spurt, it can be very painful. And that's why it's like, be careful how you focus on this, because the power of your focus is very important. And if you are focusing on the painful aspects, you magnify it. If you can step back and see the bigger picture, for example, with the propane thing breaking, it's like, and the water heater, actually, these are 2 things that I live in an older house. They needed to be replaced. It was painful to go through the process of those suddenly breaking down because they don't give you a warning. They just do it, right? Yet, it is safer to have the newer products and it's going to be safer and better moving forward. But the process of the transition of things feeling easier and then suddenly feeling very complicated, where you focus in there will either help you ease through it because you can look at it from the at least it's safer now perspective, and then you start to feel almost gratitude. You're like, well, the house is safer. It's safer for this to be upgraded and new. Or you can look at it from the loss perspective of this sucks. Hot water and heat are intermittently on and off right now. It's drama. It's just drama. And so when we're looking at this, how we look at it is really going to determine how painful it is. And one of the things they said is like an attitude change will help you. And it reminds me of Dr. Viktor Frankl, who survived, I believe, 3 different concentration camps during World War II. And he's the one that comes up with the power of meaning and why giving something meaning is so important, because events, we don't understand the larger nature of an event. Why does that happen? Why does it happen twice in 1 week? Why does somebody get hurt or harmed? Why is someone cruel? And if it's not something you get an answer for, it can lead to a feeling of helplessness or hopelessness. And it's not so much the event that really affects the person, it's their psyche that really affects. This is the Six of Swords in the reverse position, but this is just talking about like it's all happening up here. The other card that they bring up is the Six of Cups, which is an emotional aspect. So both psyche and emotions are sort of taking a dip right now, and it is about the practical things happening in your life. When you're dealing with the number 6 is talking about like domestic life, the issues of what's going on around you, like that literally your home and nurturing and taking care of people. All of that's feeling kind of boo-boo right now. And like Dr. Viktor Frankl points out, that when larger than life events happen that you can't get a direct answer for, or the answer that you get doesn't feel like it answers the question. If our psyche is not in the right place and our emotions are all worked up, and out of sorts because your feathers are ruffled, it can lead you to a dark train of thought. And it's not so much the event that happened that really got to you, it's the psyche, where the psyche is at. So you could be experiencing terrible events, but if the psyche is that this somehow works out in my favor, this is somehow better for me, this has a meaning to me, and you can assign it to something that gives you a sense of hope, then you are going to be able to ride the wave much easier. And in result, your experience will reflect that to you. When our psyche goes down because of events, that's actually what caused more people harm and was harder for them to survive or recover. And that's what he noticed in his own experience. It meant something to him to survive. Therefore, he was able to do it. To those people who were lost in the sorrow and the suffering, they hadn't given it a meaning that gave them something. It's like a rock you're giving yourself. They're showing me a rock climbing wall, and it's like it gives you a foothold and a handhold when you have meaning. And so the events in your life might not be epically big, like what Dr. Viktor Frankl went through, or they might feel epically big in your personal life. Whatever it is, it's best to look at your attitude in the moment to help yourself. Because if you feel like I can't do anything about that, or I feel helpless to that, pay attention to your psyche, because it can either help you through that moment or it can drag you down. And so that's what we're being asked to focus on this week. Now I want to look at the karma cards and see how they add to this message. All right, if you're new to karma cards, let me quickly show you how these work. I have 3 decks here: planets, signs of the zodiac, and the houses of astrology. And I've already asked my team, what is the message you have for this week? And I have 2 sets of answers, set in red, which are action, and a set in blue, which are outcome. And the way that you play is you can tune in with that beautiful intuition of yours and feel what is the guidance you most want at this time. Are you looking for a direction and action to take, or are you looking to see how things resolve, or do you want to know both? And of course, whatever you choose, that's exactly what you need. While you are choosing, let me tell you the timing for this reading. This reading is for October 29th through November 4th. And the flavor of this reading, man, I feel like we got this last time, but it's Uranus again. Plot twist planet means there's a shakeup and something is going to change. Something's going to shift here. So we want to watch that to see what's going to go on. In the sign of Aries, which is all about, your personal perseverance and your strength, your willpower, leadership, pioneering energy. In the 2nd house, which is about your worth and your values, can also represent money and possessions as well. All right, for those who are choosing action, your spiritual action at this time is to shake up the situation by using your willpower patiently. It's letting you know that the psychology, like they were talking about, your willpower, your mindset around this does actually have a ripple effect, if you will, in energy on the very situation you are going through. So not only is it powerful to give it a meaning, and maybe a meaning that actually helps you, but it actually, you know how a situation sort of feels like it's impacting you? Like it's only one directional, right? Like, this is happening to me. Oh gosh. It's letting you know that by being very directional with your own thoughts, with your own psyche in mind, you actually turned around and go right back to it. I hadn't known that. I mean, it makes sense, but I don't think I've ever really articulated that consciously before. Maybe it's something instinctively understood, but hearing that is like, that feels really empowering, actually. Because I've always sort of seen it, I think, as more about endurance. Like I just am, my psyche and how I look at it gives me endurance. I never thought about it like literally impacting the situation back, like changing the directional energy of that situation. That's fascinating, and I like it. And so patiently, but I'll also be very mindful that just because you are doing that doesn't mean you directly see it. So if you're expecting it to be a quick shift, give it a minute, practice your patience, because it does do it. But it might require consistently choosing it again on your part. So every time the situation comes up and you're like, damn it, instead of going back into a despair mindset, you got to consciously keep shifting back into this is helping me, this is good for me. I don't know how, but this is all working out for me mindset. Right, mental action at this time, be open to new ideas about what you think you know about what you want. Okay, so they're saying that these impacting or surprising events that are happening, they're catalysts, they say, for clarity's sake. What do I want? What you think you want is maybe a certain amount of money, or what you think you want is ease or grace, but really what you want is, I want to be safe. I want to be, the basics really come into mind. What your base needs are become very clear to you when you're in a situation where those are feeling threatened. You get very clear. Like suddenly what truly is important to you becomes crystal clear. That is the gift of it. So what do you really want? We think we want all these other things, right? I want people to, pay attention to my point of view, or shift their thinking to my thinking. But when your basic needs are being tested, you're like, nope, just want to be safe. Just want to know that I can protect the people around me. I don't really care what your opinion is anymore. I don't care what your mindset is. Let's just be safe, right? You do you, I'll do me. Safe, right? So catalyst gives clarity. Physical action at this time, invent a way to do it your own way and get what you need. What they're letting me know with this is there's no prescribed actions to take. Like I couldn't literally give you a ritual right now and be like, do these 5 steps and you will lead yourself into, psychological ease, which will create the flow of universal energy working in your favor. I can't, because this is about being really clear about where you are. So when the catalyst hits and the clarity comes, you know what you need. And then in order to move yourself there, what do you do to help detach from your emotions, especially if you have emotions who are off the charts? Because catalyst can oftentimes, 50% of the time, catalyst is going to be negative. When you're hit with a negative catalyst, often we go into an emotional spin. The emotional spin is what starts telling the story on top of the event. And depending on where you're at in that cycle, that's where you're going to have to bring awareness to yourself. And somebody's 5-step program or whatever isn't necessarily going to be the thing that helps you in that moment. You're going to have to I'm hearing pick and mix from the tools that you have, the ones that feel the most relevant. And your body and your mind, your subconscious mind, will tell you exactly what those tools are. You just have to calm yourself enough to get them, right? So if that means that, for example, if there's like a lot of anger, you need to move the body first, move it out, like scream into a pillow, jump up and down. Again, I'm not prescribing this because, as they've said, I can't actually do that. It's not going to work like that. It actually has to be something that you get from yourself. What they want you to know is it's right there. Understanding how to move energy can help you. Like I said, with anger, you need to move it. With, sadness or tears, those things, they need to flow. It needs to flow, right? So understanding how energy moves can help you. Words that need to be spoken, if they're not being spoken, it creates tension, and it can literally be like a choking sensation in the throat or a hard knot, right? So saying the words that you need to say, things like that, these things can help you. From there, once the energy starts moving, it unblocks the mind, and it's like the protocol sort of downloads. So right now, it's not to say you can't use a prescribed action, like for example, tapping, right? There's a method to it. It's not saying you can't use that, but you want to listen to what your body is telling you will work for you. And maybe in that moment, tapping is not the thing that will work for you. It doesn't mean it won't work later. But also, if that's the only thing you do and the energy doesn't move, it means there's more that you're going to need to do, and it's already within you. So don't stress about it. You don't have to it's not like making an emergency kit with tools, although those are nice to have. This is all about being in the moment with yourself and being able to hear yourself through any kind of distress that you might feel. All right, so now let's look at outcomes for Uranus in Aries in the second house of values and worth. Spiritual outcome at this time, an unusual example of energies to meet the challenge of your beliefs. This actually reminds me of some of the work that I do on Insight Timer. I have a live session I do every Thursday morning at 10 a.m. Pacific time, and you're welcome to join me, called Emotional Reset. Inside Emotional Reset, we do a couple of things. We work on the nervous system, and then we do a tapping round on neurosupportive statements that have been shown by peer-reviewed science to actually change the neurochemistry in your brain when saying them, and we add tapping, and that takes them even deeper. One of those 7 statements that have been proven by peer-reviewed science to have a positive change on your brain is, my thoughts are not facts. My thoughts are not facts. What does this do for you? This actually can get you out of cognitive distortion. Cognitive distortion is the story you're telling yourself about what is happening. For example, when things in your house break back to back, the story you might say to yourself is, what do you have against me, universe? Like, what? Why are you punishing me? I feel like I'm being punished. That's the story, right? My thoughts are not facts helps you break apart from that cognitive distortion. Nobody's punishing me, things break down, right? That's what I can get to when I use that statement. This is this statement about unusual energies to meet the challenge of your beliefs. That is what that statement means. That's what this message means to me, is that statement. My thoughts are not facts. Write it down. Remember it. Remember it when you're going through something frustrating, upsetting, challenging, that is taking you down a road that is not supporting you on the mental level. This is that what they were talking about. Your psyche can even either lift you up and send good energy out, or take you down and like pull more negative energy into you. When you say my thoughts are not facts, you give yourself the ability to see from the 40,000 foot view, because you're challenging yourself and it's causing you to step back going, well, if that's true, what are the thoughts I'm having that aren't facts? Oh, that something's working against me. Oh, that this is, a punishment, or whatever it is that the distorted thought is telling you. This statement, my thoughts are not facts, can help unlock you from that story and give you a meta perspective to see the bigger picture, and suddenly what felt like an overwhelming event suddenly becomes the size of a grain of rice, and you're like, oh yeah, I made that an epic drama when it's really like this tiny inconvenience. And unfortunately, when our mindset is inside the epic drama version, we can't see that. But that statement helps you. So I'm going to say it one more time because I think it's really important. The statement to use is, my thoughts are not facts. Mental outcome at this time, a different way of looking at your desires regarding what you value. So I know that this karma cards isn't a particularly like happy, easy one. There's a lot about the growing pains right now in this one, right? It's a lot of like, struggle bus energy. And I really wish I could deliver a better message, but I want to deliver the message that helps. So if we have to listen to the struggle bus energy, we will. Like, again, catalyst creates clarity. Getting clear on what you value. So a lot of people, when we're in a place where we feel comfy or things are easy or flowing, it's kind of hard sometimes to see what you value. Have you ever tried to like identify or pinpoint your values when you're in a comfortable state? It kind of feels vague and fuzzy and like, oh, I value abundance and I value time to myself, and I'm not trying to make fun of those things. I mean, you can really value those things, and that's, those, if they're important. But if you feel like your values are vague to you, I'll tell you what will help you out is some catalyst will get you right down to what really matters. It's like my safety, my family's safety, their health, their protection, being connected to people, getting along, trying to get along, right? We get very clear on what we really value when the thing we value is being threatened. Even if it's just a small inconvenience, that'll wake you up and be like, oh, yeah, no, I need that, right? So I guess that's kind of the gift of this time. That inconvenience, the pain, the disruption energy just gets you really clear on what's important to you. And it's just asking you to consider that if you're going through something this week. If something's, if something is causing you to struggle, or just look at how it's getting you to look at your own life. Like, gosh, I don't need to waste my time doing that. Like, whoa, I spend way too much time on my phone or something like that. Like, I need to spend more time with people because I really felt that I could lose something. And now I realize how much it means to me, and it redirects that energy, and it just cleans up the line is what I'm getting. It's like clearing out a pipe. It's cleaning the line of the excessive stuff. Physical outcome at this time, an unexpected change resulting from the honesty and strength of your resources. Yeah, they're just showing me that thing again about your resources. In this case is your inner resources, whether it's patience, tenacity, resilience, humor. I mean, having a good sense of humor during a hard time is probably one of the greatest gifts you can have. And as I say that, my team's like, ding! These are your inner resources that they're talking about. And they were like, these are your superpowers in a way, is a good way to look at it. It's your Care Bear stare, if you will. It is the energy that's coming out of you that will deflect this. And again, the psyche, the mindset, how you're thinking about it can have a ripple effect on the event. Give it a minute, so be patient about that. But if patience is a superpower of yours, use that, right? If resilience or the ability to laugh at something that's difficult is a resource for you, use that. That also stirs up the situation, right? Think about your inner resources. We're always so focused on our external resources. But what we have something that cannot be extinguished or taken away or used up, and those are internal resources. And that's what they're saying. Like, this has the ability to change something. Like, this week, if it started out weird or funky or disappointing in any way, you have the resources within you to create a ripple effect change that could change in a better way. You might have to be patient for it, might not happen right away, but those are the resources within you that does it. And then try to remember those, like try to honor it and value those too. Oftentimes, I think we rely on them without really giving them their due. What are the resources that you rely on when things are hard within you? Is it your generosity of spirit, your willingness to hold someone else when you want to be held? Is it your sense of humor, which again, I think is a great resource? Your strength, your willpower, your ability to bounce back, like nothing really knocks you down. You just kind of dust it off and get back up. What are those strengths? Time to take a stock of those and consider, life again is 50-50, meaning 50% positive, 50% negative. It's not like that universally, by the way. That's this plane, which is why we're also excited to go to the next one, because some of us have got fatigue of this plane, right? This 50-50 catalyst thing. It's very effective though. So we might be fatigued by it, but it does what it says it will do, which is create growth. We can get really fatigued by it, but if we take the time to appreciate the inner resources that we carry, not only will we remember to use them, but it just makes you feel better to recognize that you have that energy. It's what you have to give. Resources like that are gifts that can be shared with others, right? So my team's just lighting up all over this message. I am sending you so much love. We got this. We're going to do just fine. In the meantime, let's go distill your dream sentence for 2026, because absolutely the energy of what you think about something, you are creating, you are sending it out into the outside world, creating a ripple. So let's do it intentionally. Let's do it together. Let's have fun. Join me for the Dream Distiller Challenge on Sunday, November 2nd at 2 p.m. Pacific time. I'd love to have you there. Let's have some fun and dream big and create safety in our body while we do it. All right, sending you so much love. Mwah. Bye. Talk about the Starlight Dream Lab, which is all about how to get your nervous system on board with you experiencing your big dream. So if you've ever felt resistance, like you're going after a goal, but your body's not on board because it doesn't feel safe, you feel more scared of going out of your comfort zone than you do stretching, then you need to teach your nervous system that your big dream is a safe space to be. And that's what the Starlight Dream Lab does. It teaches your nervous system that it is safe to experience your big dream, both emotionally and then physically as well. So if that sounds good to you, I have a free mini kit for you. You can go to the link below, click on that. It'll take you to the Starlight Dream Lab, and you can get started today, anchoring in calm and clarity and practicing for your big dream before you get there.